Well, good morning my YouTube friends, it's Margaret here from M.E.s Orchids, and it's 11:31, it's 21.3 in the grow room, 63% humidity. The humidity yesterday went up to 87, and so all the orchids are responding to the good light, the warmth and the humidity. There's that beautiful Phalaenopsis, the one with 3 blooms, and I've got another little bud developing there. And I've got that on the window. So this is the windowsill area, and you know I've got these conical iron baskets here, and this is they were watered yesterday, and so that's twice they've been watered since they've been in these baskets. Bring you over here. Because they're in the window area and it's very sunny, and I always have this window open as well, this media does dry out very quickly, so I do have to keep these hydrated. There's that new one, that's the RLC Yen 24 carat, and I've just started to feel these leaves, and they're bordering on being hot. So this shade cloth that I have here, in this corner here, that will be draped across now. Also, this is not too bad, but definitely those on that Yen 24 are far too warm. I mean, let's see if I can get the light right here. This one here, which is the best way to do the light. This is the Sadirah Japonica, the one that bloomed for me this year. And this one's away from that direct sunlight. So there we go. It's just actually inside. But those leaves there are actually facing out into the window. And it's like this LC Bermondsey palm. This is another one. And this tilts towards this way, and all the ones that I've got mounted there, they get the direct light. They get indirect light, if you see what I mean. And that's the big one, the big Tiamu, and that was watered as well. This is of course the Laelia Pirata, and that's doing exceedingly well on this big branch, and without getting it down, I can tell you that it's got a new growth starting, so that must enjoy that that branch. I'm still waiting for that Phalaenopsis up there to give me signs of a new root. Once I can see a new root developing, I should be very happy. This big one here, this is the Orchids falcata. I'll just lift this one down and carefully. Now you see that one there, that big root. I tried to manoeuvre it round, it was sticking out sideways, and as I manoeuvred it round it snapped. So I was really annoyed at myself. But can you see how there we've got a new root coming at the end, we've got a side root there, we've got another one there, and we've got another one there, and we've got another one. Oh no, that's the other root. This one has developed this spring, and then we've got green tips coming on that one, and we've got a nice green tip on that one. So it's just getting everything. I'm one of those persons that I like to have my grow room in some kind of order. I don't like things haphazard. I like to have a space for everything, and that's that space, if you like. That's its little home. So I've had to move this Van der Sarulsens, that little miniature one, and I've moved it against this back wall here. That's my species Phalaenopsis Parisi, and I noticed yesterday down there. Ooh. Will it show you? A new little green growing root. So I'm quite thrilled about that one. And also while I'm here, this one that the cakeys off the Dendrobium goldsmithianum, and I had them in the seaweed extract, if you remember. So a couple of days ago, I thought, well, they've been in the seaweed extract long enough, and I put them in here in a mixture of bark and sphagnum moss. And can you see the roots? Can you see how they I've taken now? And there we go, see? But what I've done is I've put them back here so they're not in direct sunlight, and I've kept that glass filled just so it gives it some humidity. That's the Sergio Aria Yukusuku story, just potted up in leca there. Let me see that one. And that's got new roots. That was hydrated yesterday. And this one here is the Dendrobium chrysotoxum, and I've got a new growth there. I'm hoping once it reaches this piece of wood here, it will actually manoeuvre itself to come out. And if we go on to this top shelf here, oh, that's one. This is one else that I did yesterday. This is my Rinku Stylus Gigantica peach, and it's got one root, and I've really struggled with this one because it won't give me a root, another root. And Michael McCarthy might say, well, you keep moving it too much. Yes, but if you get the right potting media, or the right pot, or the right mount, it will give you an indication that it's fine. So yesterday I had to manoeuvre this piece of wood, and that was fine. I've wired it in, and I've checked on it, and it needs to be warm. Well, it's nice and warm in here, and it needs high humidity. Well, yesterday it was 80%, and this root needs to be watered 2 or 3 times a day. Well, I'm fine with that. And I've got a trough of water down there, and that's I make a trough of water up every day. That's got a TDS of 184 and a pH reading of 6.12. And so I'm hopeful that this may well like where it is. It's nice and secure. I think that's one of the main things, is when you mount something, it has to feel nice and secure. Now, if I bring little Zorro down, here's little Zorro, and it's on this piece of wood, and did you see that little root? It's got a bit of a scrape on, hasn't it, there? You see that little mark? And so what I realised was, every time I put it back up on this back wall, that little root there was getting bruised. So what I've done is I've manoeuvred the hook, so it stands so far back from the wall so it doesn't get banged every time I put it back. And you'll see I've got another little root there, and I've got another little root trying to emerge there. I remove this leaf, so there's that root there, and the other one is just emerging there. And these were all fed and watered yesterday, like I do virtually every day. I just put that back now, and it bangs against the wall now. And I'll show you that one there. See, these are all the mounts, so these all get watered and fed as often as I can, and that's usually every day. Because it's that warm in here that they need to be hydrated. And these are some of the dendrobiums. I'm not sure yet whether that's a bloom, but you see that's growing nicely. And this one is the Masdevallia with the other flowers inflorescence it produced. So I'm just waiting for that now. I've put that out of harm's way. And if I manoeuvre around here, whoops, down in this area, this is the empty shelf. Well, all these were watered and fed yesterday. Can you see? And this is where they hang. And they've got all those trays to drip there. And shortly, but I'm going out into the garden first, these will all go back over here. And just in that area at the moment, I've just got one of the phalaenopsis just being hydrated in that jug there. And these are the two. That's the other Vanda curvifolia. I've got no medium in there at all. That's just bare root. And this, of course, is the Vanda peaches. And this one is doing lovely, sending out roots everywhere. And you see, loves it. And that's the Gatton Sunray with that new growth that I've lifted up to just keep it supported rather than it just coming out vertically. That's the Procativolia, Jarrat Green Star. Oh, and I found a nice little place there for the Dendrobium tetragonum. So, and at last, this one, this Pamela Hetherington, I've got that new growth extending there. So, and as I say, some of the frags are over here. They'll be watered tomorrow. And I was going to do them today, but I've decided they can wait another day. I check them, lift them up to see how they're doing, and they're doing absolutely fine. And oops, made me jump then. This one here, let me show you this one here. This is the mini one that I started off in semi-hydro. Look at the roots now, and if you look in there, I don't know if you'll see, right down in there, there's a new little leaf. So those are the signs. That's what I'm looking for. Those are the signs. And I'll put the big fan on afterward, and the other little fan. So if we go back this way now, these are all doing very well. These are all the Phalaenopsis types, you see. And I'm going to bring this curtain across any second now, and these are the first ones that will go into that water butt. See? Can you see the new root coming out of there? These are bare rooted. See? These are all bare rooted. Now this big one here, Cortana Gold, got another root coming out there, as well as the I just manoeuvre there, as well as that other root that was coming, you know, that I just split the leaf to allow it to come through. And on the windowsill, of course, are the two. One's Catasetum, Pileatum, and that's the Fred Clark Aura. If I can just lift this over, and we've got that. Can you see it that way? Just under there, growth there, and that's still developing. So we'll have to just see what it is. And I'll lift myself up in this area. Getting full sun is the Cattleya walkeriana. Yes. So these, the Vandaceous, the Vandas, these get watered every day, and they will stay in that water container for a good hour, something like that. And there's the other one, you see, down there. And there's the Goldsmithianum. Like that. that likes this area. And this is the one that I did struggle for it to make new roots. And but now we've got them, can you see? That one's come alive now. And we've got one just touching that side of the terracotta pot. And that's the pink diamond. That's the big one. Don't know if you'll see that with the light. That's just potted up in lava rock. But again, I still have to protect that from the sun, and it is quite warm actually. So, but I need two hands to actually pull this little scarf across. And up in that corner there is the, let me just bring my step around, and then sorry about that. That's the maxillaria. As I say, they're all responding. Even this bark area, this one. Oh, come on, where are you? That one. It looked like a ghost orchid, didn't it? But look. See how I've got nice new growth starting. So that's out of the woods now. I'm pleased about that. Woo. And that just goes there. Those are doing fine. That's the Hoya. And these are the others. Now these have been fed and watered, but I do, you see, can you see? It's not quite crisp. So these will get watered. Now that one's more crisp. And that's the one that had the mealy bugs. But look how it's grown. You see that nice new root there, and I've got another new root coming through there. So, but I do keep my eye on this because it probably will need another treatment. And there's that lovely pastoral innocence, and I've got a growth. Don't let you'll see it. Got a growth there, and I'm hoping that will turn and come out this way. But that's been fed and watered yesterday. That's in a self-watering pot, so that does last quite a long time. And that's the Laelia Dusky Maid, and that's the other RLC Yen 24. And those are some of the frags still there. This is the Laelia Santa Maria. A new growth, you see. And this is the Sidendenfinia Pirata. And to all intents and purposes, it looks awful, doesn't it? But look at that. I noticed yesterday it got a new root. And so I'm hoping that this is the other part of Vanda Peaches. Again, that doesn't look brilliant, but I'm hoping it might produce a root and grow on for me. Whether it will, I have no idea. So there's the other big Sergioari Yukusuku story, and this is the other Alicera, and you see, at last that growth's developing. So I think that one might be out of the woods. And that's the Scaphoglotis. This is the little species Tolumnia, which is called Tolumnia scandens. Don't show this very often, but yeah, it's still growing. And there's the other Masdevallias. They were fed and watered. That's the long yellow striped. And there we are, that's a Crumomentum, the big Coelogene Burfordiense. This is of course the Angraecum, the Squipidale, and I'm waiting to see whether it'll send any roots out from this area. I'm not sure yet. Oh, and I will just lift this one down gently, This is the Holco Blossom. I've got Wangi there at the top, and this is Subdiflorum. And when I've taken that leaf off, you see, it's enabled this root now to start growing. So, and even though this was watered yesterday, look at that. That moss will have to be plunged into some water later on today. They'll have to manage till this afternoon because, like I say, I'm going into the garden now. So it's just a little tour round, and so we're all in vegetative growth. But until you've got your orchids settled, well, I like to be settled. I like to, if I'm going to move them eventually, I like to get them settled into a place or a mount or something that I like and I'll be satisfied with, and then I don't usually move them again. Famous last words, but never mind. There we go. So I'm going to bid my farewells now today, and hope you're all staying safe and staying indoors. So from me to you, take care. Bye bye now.